हेलो। हेलो।
नमस्कार।
हाँ मैडम, थोड़ा और लैपटॉप को नीचे लो, स्क्रीन को थोड़ा नीचे लो आपका। नहीं, बहुत हो गया, थोड़ा ऊपर। पुश इट बिहाइंड the screen, push the screen little behind.
Yeah, I'm pushing it behind. See now.
No,
नहीं, बहुत हो गया, थोड़ा और आगे करो। मैम, आप अपने आप को पिन करके देखो ना।
How do I? I'll start out. रहने दो अभी।
Perfect. And we are live.
I'll start.
11:30 ना?
Namaskar and a very warm welcome to each one of you. At the very outset, I would like to thank SCRT, Maharashtra State Board of Secondary and Higher Secondary Education, and Bal Bharti for making this platform available to all of us. I would request Director of Education, Honorable Dr. Dinkar Patil Sir, and Chairman of Maharashtra State Board of Secondary and Higher Secondary Education, Dr. Shakuntala Kale, to address us.
Neha lost the voice.
Now Dr. Shakuntala Kale Madam will address us.
महाराष्ट्र राज्य माध्यमिक उच्च माध्यमिक शिक्षण मंडळ पुणे, बालभारती आणि महाराष्ट्र राज्य शैक्षणिक संशोधन व प्रशिक्षण परिषद पुणे यांच्या संयुक्त विद्यमाने इयत्ता 12वीचा अभ्यासक्रम मूल्यमापन पाठ्यपुस्तक याच्यावर प्रशिक्षण संपन्न आहे. आणि या प्रशिक्षणामध्ये मी सर्वांचं स्वागत करते. कोविड-19 विषाणूच्या प्रादुर्भावामुळे सगळंच ठप्प असताना इयत्ता 12वीच्या बदललेल्या अभ्यासक्रम आणि पाठ्यपुस्तकावर आणि मूल्यमापन आराखडे तयार करण्याचं काम आपल्याला करणं भाग होतं. आणि या ठप्प झालेल्या कालावधीमध्ये सुद्धा सगळ्या तज्ञांनी ऑनलाईन पद्धतीने काम करून सतत राजमंडळाच्या संपर्कात राहून हे आराखडे तयार केले. आणि हे आराखडे तयार करून आपण शासनाला मान्यतेसाठी पाठवले. शासनानेही आपल्याला त्वरित मान्यता दिली आणि या तज्ञांच्या अथक परिश्रमामुळे आज आपल्याला प्रशिक्षणाची संधी उपलब्ध होते. या प्रशिक्षणाचं वैशिष्ट्य असं सांगता येईल की आतापर्यंत आपण जे प्रशिक्षण घेतो तो ती कॅसेट मोडमध्ये असायची. म्हणजे सुरुवातीला राज्यातले तज्ञ विभाग स्तरावरचे तज्ञ तयार करायचे. पण यावेळेला या ऑनलाईनच्या माध्यमातून राज्यातले मुख्य तज्ञच आपल्या समोर विदाउट ट्रान्समिशन लॉसेस प्रशिक्षण घेणार आहे. आणि या प्रशिक्षणाचं अजून एक वैशिष्ट्य असं की हे फक्त मूल्यमापन आराखड्याचं प्रशिक्षण नाही, तर या प्रशिक्षणामध्ये बदललेला अभ्यासक्रम, बदललेली पाठ्यपुस्तकं आणि त्यात नेमका कोणता नवीन दृष्टिकोन आलेला आहे, कोणते लर्निंग आउटकम अपेक्षित आहेत, या सर्वांवर याद चर्चा होणार आहे. तसंच केवळ आराखडा नाही तर घटकनिहाय गुणविभागणी मूल्यमापनाचा आराखडा, नमुना ब्लूप्रिंट जी आपण स्वतः तयार करू शकता. मग नेसेसरी केली पाहिजे पण ती आपल्याला कशी करायची याचं प्रात्यक्षिक यात आहे. दुसरी महत्वाची गोष्ट अशी की याच्यातनं जरी सगळ्यांना टू वे नाही झालं तरी काही ठराविक लोकांना शेवटच्या तासामध्ये जो खास शंका निरसनासाठी ठेवलेला आहे त्या प्रश्न विचारण्याची सुविधा उपलब्ध करून देणार आहोत. त्याचबरोबर जर आपल्याला काही शंका असतील तर आपण ईमेलद्वारे व्हॉट्सअपच्या माध्यमातून तज्ञांना विचारू शकता. प्रशिक्षण संपल्यानंतर आपल्याला जो फीडबॅक फॉर्म दिलेला आहे हा फीडबॅक फॉर्म आपण जरूर भरा. आपल्याला ट्रेनिंग कसं वाटतं याबद्दलच्या प्रतिक्रिया आपण जरूर कळवा. प्रशिक्षण ऑनलाईन असल्यामुळे थोडासा तांत्रिक बिघाड होऊ शकतो. आणि समजा आता सगळ्यांनी जे जॉईन झाले, जे उरले जॉईन झाले ते तर प्रत्यक्ष प्रशिक्षणाचा लाभ घेतीलच, पण जे उरलेले लोक आहेत आपले यांना सुद्धा आपण YouTube आणि इतर माध्यमातून हे व्हिडिओ आपल्याला पाहण्याची संधी आपण उपलब्ध करून देणार आहोत. आणि आमचा असा प्रयत्न आहे की या प्रशिक्षणापासून आपले कोणतेही शिक्षक वंचित राहू नये. आणि मला असं वाटतं की हे या राज्यस्तरीय सगळ्या संस्थांनी केलेल्या या संयुक्त विद्यमाने संपन्न होत असलेल्या या प्रशिक्षणामध्ये तुम्ही मनापासून सहभाग घ्यावा. प्रशिक्षणाला सुरुवात झाल्यानंतर शेवटपर्यंत थांबणं अनिवार्य आहे. प्रत्येकाच्या उपस्थितीचं रेकॉर्ड होणार आहे. तो माणूस किती वेळ थांबला आणि मला असं वाटतं की सुरुवातीपासून शेवटपर्यंत थांबल्यानंतरच आपल्याला सगळा लाभ करणार आहे. तर मला असं वाटतं की आपण सगळ्यांनी या प्रशिक्षणात आनंदाने सहभाग घ्यावा. इतक्या मोठ्या लार्ज स्केलवर ऑनलाईन प्रशिक्षण घेण्याचा हा आपला पहिलाच प्रयत्न आहे आणि आपण तो यशस्वी करणारच आहोत. तर तुम्हा सगळ्यांना मनपूर्वक शुभेच्छा. धन्यवाद. सर्वांना नमस्कार.
Thank you, Honorable Madam Dr. Shakuntala Kale and Honorable Dr. Dinkar Patil sir for addressing us. Now we proceed with our today's agenda. We start with first session which relates to introduction and background of the curriculum. The second session deals with overview of the textbook contents. It is followed by scheme of evaluation and evaluation format. The fourth session relates to question paper format and answer format, followed by blueprint and the last is question answer session. Before we begin, I would like to introduce the members who will chair these sessions. We have Satish Dharao sir from Nashik division with us. Gayatri Narayanan madam from Mumbai division. Atul Patil sir from Nashik division. Vishal Shinde sir from Kolhapur division. Rupali Brahme madam from Pune division. And I am Neha Katti from Pune division. Now we begin with the background of our curriculum. The 12th standard IT curriculum is based on 3 streams, that is science, commerce, and arts. Today, we will discuss about the science stream contents with subject code 97. The objective of the curriculum is to make students familiar with terms and technologies in the IT sector. The do it yourself and do you know captions let the student explore more contents related to a particular field. Now, we start with the objectives of the topics based on the curriculum. The first chapter, Advanced Web Publishing, has been introduced to acquaint the students with advanced designing skills by using advanced tags of HTML5. In 11th standard, already the students were taught the basic layout, the structure, and the required tags to design simple web pages. The advanced features will let the students have more hand over the designing feature. The second chapter, Introduction to SEO, is a completely upcoming topic which will introduce the students at the beginner's level to the ways and means to enable websites to rank higher through the search engines. So this is a section of digital marketing which has been catching up in this situation currently. Next, the third chapter is related to advanced JavaScript. It has actually traversed from the basics of JavaScript to the advanced section, where the aim is to make the students competent in the event-driven scripting language so as to create dynamic web pages. We have introduced certain objects like the number object, the array object, the date object to get a more hands-on experience of working with dynamic web pages. The fourth chapter, which is emerging technologies, will make the student relate to the current technologies like the IoT, cloud computing, 5G, and AI, which may create interest in him and can be his future source of career. The fifth topic relates to server-side scripting. Here we have introduced the open source PHP scripting language. The aim is to make the students familiarize with the concept of client-server interaction. Teachers can conduct SOP on form connectivity with database by using MySQL. Can also be used. This particular section at present is being reduced or is a non-evaluative matter, but it can be further taught in the later years. The sixth chapter, that is e-commerce and e-governance, will create awareness about different practically useful e-commerce websites and introduction of types and websites related to e-governance. So the entire curriculum is divided into theoretical and skill-oriented practicals. We have a section in the textbook which has number of SOPs based on advanced web designing, advanced JavaScript, and server-side script. The minimum criteria for the number of practicals to be performed is 12, which is specified as above. In the current situation, for the year 2021, only 7 practicals are expected. The same set of practicals need to be used during final practical examination. The details of conducting the practical sets will be discussed eventually. So the entire science curriculum traverses from the basics of web page development till its publishing, that is the web hosting. It gives knowledge about creating dynamic and interactive web pages using JavaScript and PHP. It guides the students about how to optimize the web page, thus making the students develop their logical and technical skills. Now, in order to have a detailed overview of textbook contents, may I request Satish Dharav sir to present the presentation.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Mr. S.K. Dharra from KTHM College, Nasik. I had been assigned the responsibility of acquainting you with the content of our textbook. I would like to let you know that what are the things intended behind this curriculum of the textbook. I'll go one by one through all the topics and will let you know that what are the things that have been expected from this particular curriculum that has been designed for this class 12th of this year. As you all have seen the textbook, you must have observed the index. In our index, we are having 6 lessons and 3 SOPs, that is 3 sets of SOPs. Namely, I'm going to discuss all these things. The very first topic of the chapter title, Advanced Web Designing. Then the second is Introduction to SEO. The third one is Advanced JavaScript. The fourth one is Emerging Technologies, IoT, cloud computing, AI, and 5G. The next topic that we are going to have is server-side scripting, PHP, and the last topic is e-commerce and e-governance. So make sure that you know that there are 6 lessons to be taught to standard 12th, and there are 3 sets of SOPs. The first one for advanced web designing, the second one for advanced JavaScript, and the third one for server-side scripting, PHP. I'll begin with my presentation of Advanced Web Designing Chapter 1. Understand what is the name advanced actually. Why it has been named as advanced? The simple reason is that the basics of web designing we have studied in standard 11 and certain new things have been included in this particular topic which are advanced level. So the topic is advanced web designing. This chapter is going to focus on new advanced input types. These input type elements which are introduced in HTML5, they are namely color, email, telephone number, range, image, date, and etc. Remember, there have been given certain attributes of this element. So we should be able to let the students understand the use of these attributes along with these elements. Mainly should focus on pattern, placeholder, autocomplete, autofocus. These are some of the important input restrictions or attributes that you should let your students understand and let them know that how they can be incorporated in your programs. Then the next thing that we are going to have to focus is the meta tag. Into meta tag, the contents that are going to be searched by engines, search engine to search information on a web page. Here, regarding meta tag, it's very important because it is going to deal with the second lesson, search engine optimization. So you should be able to let the student know that what is the purpose of this meta tag, why it is placed in header section, and the related things that you're going to let your student understand from this particular meta tag. Then the next topic that we're going to study is CSS, cascading style sheets. Let student understand the purpose of CSS, why we are going to have CSS. That in normal HTML, it's quite difficult for us to format our web pages, but with the CSS, we get a free hand on how to develop our web pages. So that basic idea, we should let the students know that why we should study these things. So the simple answer for CSS is that in normal HTML, it is not possible to format our web pages. So that formatting ability is possible because of CSS. The next thing that we are going to let the student know is about the types of style sheets. The different types of style sheets are the inline or internal and external style sheet. Basically, there are three types of style sheets: inline, internal, and external style sheet. So regarding this three different, please make the student understand the difference between inline, internal, and external style sheets. We have also certain selectors like class selector, as well as we have universal selectors. Wildcard elements too are there. So we should be able to make our students understand that what are these selectors, what is their purpose, how to utilize them in our program. So all those things we should be able to make our student understand about their purpose. Then the next is to create list. So this has been very simplest part in our this particular lesson, that how to create list. There are different types of lists such as ordered list, unordered list, definition list too are going to be there. In this, let the student perform the practicals on how to create nested list, how one list can be nested into another list. Let them also understand that what are the different attributes of OL, UL, and DL. You can correlate this with the creation of table, that how it is synonymous to creating a table and creating an ordered or unordered list or a definition list. So all these things you should be able to let the student know when you're going to teach this topic. Then the next topic that is going to be there is audio and video insertion using audio and video. Here we are accustomed to using audio and video using simple audio tags in HTML earlier versions, but with new HTML version, it is possible that we can have multiple sources. So that particular aspect, you should be able to let your student understand that with audio and source, we can have multiple sources with the source tag used with audio and video. If possible, make them understand what is the similarity between these two. With the audio and video, they both are similar with few differences such as height and width is not possible in audio, but it is possible in video. So make this way and let them understand the concept of audio and video. Then the next thing is image mapping. Image mapping is very important aspect of web designing. Here, there are many websites where you can select a particular region and go to an hyperlink. So that particular thing is possible using image mapping. You let them know while performing the practicals that how to incorporate this particular practical, how to perform this practical using the different tags. Let them understand the importance of use map. Let them understand, you make them understand the use of hash, that why hash is important over there. The same thing is then the name that has been given to the use map has to be used with the name of map. So all those things that you're going to let them know while explaining, you can let the student understand that there is an area. This area is going to have some shapes. There are three different shapes possible. Default three shapes have been given. The first shape is rectangle, the second shape is polygon, and the third shape is circle. Their names can be used for using as a shape name. So a area is going to have shape, the shape is going to have coordinates, the coordinates are going to connect to some location, so it is going to have some hyperlink reference. You need to know what the page is all about, what the image is all about, that link is all about with the attribute alt. So you can expel the area tag such as area is going to have some shape, shape is going to have Some names, default names are rectangle, polygon, and circle. With coordinates, make them understand to the student that how to get the coordinates of rectangle, how to get the coordinates of circle, how to get the coordinates of polygon. Important thing many people are missing regarding circle is that they don't understand that the three coordinates that has been given in circle is that the first two coordinates they stands for the center of the circle, whereas the next is the radius of the circle. So make your student know these things for the particular topic, client-side image mapping, for the tag area that you're going to name this particular coordinates from paintbrush, or you can use any of the paint tool that allows you to get the coordinates of particular region. So an image can be used for image mapping. Then the next is inline frames. These inline frames, they are also called as floating frames. Now why they are called as floating frames, we should be able to let the students know that they can be placed anywhere on our web page. That is why they are called as floating frames. So in this way we can make the students understand the concept, so they can get what we may say, they can enjoy the programming with advanced web designing. Then the next topic that we are going to study is introduction to SEO. SEO is search engine optimization. Now, my dear friends, let us understand that why should we go for search engine optimization? What is the purpose of optimizing the search engine? The one of the purpose which I had understood is it is very important in digital marketing. Nowadays, it is an era of digital marketing. Everything that whatever we wish to purchase, normally it has been the trend that people search the content on the website, and those websites which are easily ranked on the website, they are searched for, they are visited for, and then they are uh, the purchase is done, or that action is executed. So if I am a entrepreneur, if I wish to be present on the internet, if I want to make my presence feel on the internet, I should be ranked on the higher side of the search engine. So to make it possible to rank on higher side of search engine, there is a technique called as search engine optimization. So the more I am on the higher side of the search engines web page rankings, there are more chances of my website being visited. And if my website is being visited at more at a more rate, then if the traffic is generated for my website, so the more number of customers will be attracted to my website, and more business I can generate from my website. So that is the basic purpose of search engine optimization. There may be many more, but this one which is very closer to us, we can explain to our students that in digital marketing, uh, the entrepreneurs need to reach to the people, and if you want to make your reach more easier to your prospective customers, in that case you're going to use search engine optimization by making your rankings higher. So that can be done with techniques of SEO such as white hat SEO, where in white hat SEO techniques that allows you to have a good design, everything whatever is going to have on your web page is going to be there. That is nothing but your white hat SEO. And black hat SEO is something techniques that are used to manipulate the things. So that is the difference between black hat SEOs and white hat SEOs. There are many things to discuss about black and white SEOs, but since I am limited with some time, so not discussing furthermore here. Then the factors that are going to improve the ranking of our websites, they are the keywords such as title, meta. Make the student understand that the ranking of website is possible because of the crawlers, the bots which these search engines are using. This crawlers bots reads those websites, collect the contents, and rank them and index them on their search engine. So if the contents are present in the meta tag, they will be easily available to the crawlers or bots, and thus there are chances that your content may be ranked higher than the normal if it is not placed in meta tag. So these things we should make to understand to our students that we can improve ranking of our website by using the meta tag. Then there are different SEO audit tools such as SEO Optimer and SEO Mator. So there are many others available. There are certain open sources tools too are available. So we can go for all those and get our website audited so that the ranking can be done. Make understand students what is mean by audit. Audit means inspection of the thing. So what are the factors that are affecting the ranking of my websites? Are they taken care of? So that care is taken, that inspection is done by these audit tools, and thus the lacunas or those shortcomings that are in my website or in the website of the customer, they can be removed, and thus your website can be optimized. Optimize means to get maximum out of anything is called as optimization. So you can get the maximum benefit from your website when you're going to optimize it. So that is the software search engine optimization. The next topic that I'm going to continue with is advanced Java script. My dear colleagues, make it very clear with you and with your students that what is JavaScript. You may have explained to them in their 11th standard, but for the newcomers, for the new teachers who have recently joined our fraternity, I'd like to let them know that please let your students know that what is JavaScript. JavaScript is a client-side scripting language. Make your student understand that it is not what you think about Java. Java is something different and JavaScript is different. If possible, make your students know that JavaScript's what were its predecessors. So that is about JavaScript. Then you also let them know that what is the difference between client-side script and server-side scripts. Then in this JavaScripts, the contents that we're going to study, our students to make them study, they are loop structures are going to be there, switch case statements are going to be there, built-in objects are going to be there. So all these things, they are going to be taught. So these basic things we have taken care in our previous year's lesson, that what are these control structures, and we are going to make our student understand in detail that what are the looping structures, what are the switch case statements, what are the conditional statements which we have studied last year. So make them understand these things. So great. So this is about the looping structures, built-in objects, and then we also should let the student know that what is the document object model. It is very important that why we are going to study document object model. So whenever you're going to perform the practicals on forms, in that case, this particular document object model, you'll be able to explain them more precisely that you're having a form, onto that form you're having an element and you're accessing the content of that element. So you need to get to that particular location by using the document object model. So you're doing like that form one dot whatever element name is there dot value. So those things you'll be able to explain to your students with this particular concept of document object model. So make it clear to your students. Then there are string objects, set properties and methods. So make your student understand all those things in detail. Then the next is that we are going to let the students know that what are the events. Event is something that is going to happen like, so if I'm going to click mouse, if I'm going to release my mouse button, if I'm going to press mouse button, so that is called as an event. So this events that we're going to study in standard 12th chapter 3 advanced JavaScript, they are on load, on submit, on blur, and etc. So these are going to be there. I like to let you know that you make your student perform the practicals besides your practical SOPs. If the contents are there, well and good. If not, they are not present in the practicals, you can ask them to perform on their own, and they'll love to test the programming concepts over here. Then the next topic that we're going to study is the inner HTML property. It is useful for getting HTML element and changing its content. So this is the important thing. Basically, you get these particular concepts with standard browsers so that you will be able to get the maximum results out of your programmings. The next topic that I'm going to study to discuss is emerging technologies. Dear friends, we being in a professional subject, we are changing every now and then. We should know that what are the emerging technologies, what are the happening things around us, and one of those we are going to have in our study. They are Internet of Things, cloud computing, artificial intelligence, which is for self-learning this year. 5G, this too is there for self-learning. I'm not going to discuss what is there for self-learning. My further orators, they are going to discuss all these things, but I'm going to let you know that what is the book all about. So Internet of Things is going to be there, cloud computing is there, artificial intelligence is there, 5G is there. With IoT, even I was bombed by a teacher when I was going for a commerce teacher bombed me with this particular question that I was there for an interview and she asked me that, what is Internet of Things? Do you know what is IoT? And all of a sudden, yes, I couldn't answer her. So it was 4 years back when I was there for an interview to a college. So we should be well acquainted with what are the happenings around us. So we should be reading certain magazines like Digit and many more that are available in the market so that we are updated with the technologies and those emerging technologies, happening technologies nowadays is Internet of Things, cloud computing, artificial intelligence, and 5G. With Internet of Things, it's possible for us to connect our household devices by embedded programming with our computer network or with our mobile network, and we can control those devices from a remote location. That is the basic idea behind Internet of Things. So the things are being automated using the Internet of Things. This second topic is of also utmost importance. Cloud computing. Cloud computing is something like that you are using the resources of someone who is having more storage, and with those storage you can get a share out of it by paying to them. So make your student understand the purpose of cloud computing. Then the next thing that I'm going to discuss is that what are the benefits of cost saving, since we are going to share the resources. So the benefits are something like cost saving, reliability, and mobility. Now how it is cost saving? Because an individual cannot afford a big source on internet, a big source of storage on internet, so you can hire it from someone, so that cost, your capital cost is saved. Reliability, because these people, they are the professional into that, so they are going to take care of your resource. That is why they are reliable. And mobility means it is available from any part of universe, so that is mobility. So make in your own way to understand your students this concept of cost saving, reliability, and mobility. Then the next topic that we're going to continue is emerging technologies. The next topic is the service models of cloud computing, which is IaaS. So instead of purchasing hardware outright, users pay for IaaS on demand. Example, Amazon Web Services. PaaS is their PaaS provides a platform with tools to test, develop, and host applications in the same environment. So please let your student understand that what is IaaS, what is PaaS, what is SaaS, and what is the difference between these things. So there are three types of deployment of cloud computing: the private, public, private, and hybrid. Then the next topic for our concern is going to be the 5G. 5G is the fifth generation of cellular network technology. 5G can support up to millions of devices per square kilometers as compared to 4G. So students are knowing all this concept, but then with some more additional input, you can make the things understandable to the students. The 5G applications are that you are going to get a good speed. With good speed, you are going to get a good bandwidth. So with the good bandwidth, you can play uh, graphic heavy games. Automated vehicles and virtual classrooms are possible using 5G connections of cellular network. Yeah, so the next topic that we're going to have is server-side scripting, PHP, which is hypertext processor. Uh, PHP is a server-side scripting language. Now, what are its other counterpart? We should be able to let the student know what is server-side scripting. Server-side scripting means a script that is run on server computer, whereas a client-side script is a script that is run on client computer. So what are those pros and cons? So what is their purpose? We should be able to make our student understand the difference between client-side scripting and server-side scripting, and then we should be able to let the student know that what is server-side scripting and what are the other concepts in server-side scripting. I would like to let you know, my dear friends, that in server-side scripting, besides PHP, we have its other counterpart, which is active server pages. And in active server pages, ASP in our previous syllabus, we have studied what is client-side scripting. Okay, so in this, we are going to have that PHP can be run on various platforms such as Linux, Unix, Mac, X Windows, and etc. So one important thing you should focus that it is freeware software. You can download it freely. The other things that are going to be of importance for PHP is that that PHP parser. You should know what is web server and a web browser. While saving these programs, let your student understand that how to save the program, how to write the program, and make it possible to understand the syntax. The next thing that we're going to discuss is about the echo statement that is used to display text on web page. So with it is something like document.write in your other scripting languages. So the same thing is here with echo. Then we are going to have that what are the variables, let them understand, let our student understand that what is a variable. Now to the people the new teachers who are recently joined with experience, you get to know those things that you should be able to let your students know that what is a variable. A variable is something that it is a place in the memory which is assigned by the operating system, and then by programs we assign that space to a variable. That variable is going to have some name, it is going to store some value, and it is going to have some address. Then these variables, they have their scopes. Their scopes can be local, global, and static. So depending upon how they are being accessed and how they are being placed in your program, it defines its scope, whether it is local, whether it is global, or whether it is static. We're going to also discuss about the PHP operators. These PHP operators, they are the PHP operators are like uh, loop structures and the previous one which you had seen earlier. Then the next one is the PHP arrays. An array is a special variable which can hold more than one value. So in case of JavaScript also we can use arrays. So an array is a special variable which can hold more than one type of array, and in with one single uh, instance we can have multiple values being stored here. Something for us, it is something like that. uh, we are going to store marks of students for different subject. One student is there and he's going to have different subjects. So in this case we are going to have an array of marks. So array is a collection of objects of similar type. That particular concept we should make our students understand and make it clear in them. Then there are the different looping structures that are the part of server-side scripting PHP. There are super globals and many more things in PHP. The last but not the least, the topic that we are going to study, to make our students study, is e-commerce and e-governance. Now, e-commerce and e-governance, make your student understand that why the word e has been used. That e stands for electronic commerce. You should make them understand what is commerce actually. Commerce is the activity of exchanging the goods in terms of money. So the monetary exchange of goods is nothing but the commerce. So if that monetary exchange is carried out by means of electronic devices such as computers and internet, then you can call it as e-commerce. So make that concept, because your students are science students, they may not be knowing what is meant by commerce. So in that case, you make them understand what is commerce. Commerce means any business activity that has been carried out by exchanging of goods in terms of monetary expenses. It is called as commerce. कुठली गोष्ट पैशाच्या स्वरूपामध्ये ज्यावेळेस देवाणघेवाण होते त्याला कॉमर्स असं म्हणतात. So you let your student know that is what is e-commerce. And then the next one is e-governance. So e-governance means carrying out government activities online is e-governance. And state government of Maharashtra has come out with different websites for e-governance. I'm going to discuss all those things in detail. Now, basics of e-commerce I'm going to discuss first. This covers the definition of basic concepts of e-commerce, also distinguishes it from the traditional commerce and helps the student decipher its advantages and disadvantages. Here, decipher means to let the student know that what is the advantages and disadvantages between the components of e-commerce. Then it lays emphasis on the types of e-commerce, namely business to business, business to consumer, B2B, B2C, C2B, C2C. These are the different types of e-commerce. So let them know, understand with the very popular examples of various website. Amazon.com is there, eBay is there, and many more are there. With these examples, you can let them know this e-commerce types such as B2B, B2C, C2B, and C2C. The next is the trade cycles. In e-commerce, every activity has some cycle. Same way, an e-commerce has a trade cycle. In trade cycle, in a generic trade cycle, namely there are 4 stages. They are pre-sale, execution, settlement, and after sales. Now, how you are going to let your student know that what is this trade cycle? It's very simple. Like, just you give them example that whenever you go to uh, a grocery market or to buy vegetables in a bazaar or in a mandi, what do you do? That do you purchase immediately whatever you see there into the market, or you search for the things? So that search, you search for that which is the best vegetable available in the market, where I can get it at a very cost effective rate. Then I negotiate with him that whether he is going to give me at that. Bargaining is nothing but your pre-sale. Search and negotiation is there. So that is your pre-sale activity. Let them understand this thing, that whenever you are going to go in a market, you don't directly purchase it. Rather, you search for the availability of the best product in the market. Then you search for that where it is cheaply available, where it is cost efficiently, economically available. That is the first stage. That is pre-sale. Then next you is the execution state. In execution set, you give them the order and then you pay the bills. That is execution and settlement. And after paying the bills, you also ask for the after sales services. After sales services, such as if it is an electronic produce, you can ask for that what is warranty, what is guarantee. Even if that electronic good is there, then they come to your home to install the goods at your home. They give you the user manual. They let you understand how to operate that thing, so they take care of your ease. So all those things, they come under after sales. So make your student understand with your live examples of day-to-day life that what is trade cycle, how it is implemented, and then we can go for how it is implemented in e-commerce. Then the next topic is the modes of payments. Nowadays, there are different types of modes of payments. It is like this section covers the different models of payment, namely credit card is there, mobile payments are there, bank transfers are there, e-wallets are there. So many more examples are there. Maybe I may be skipping some of them over here. So you are quite intelligent enough to let your students know that what are the other ways. So make your student updated with the latest things that you know. The next is the forms of e-commerce. That the two forms of e-commerce are the mobile commerce and the social commerce. So it's very uh, simple to understand and let the student know that what is mobile commerce and social commerce. Any activity that is carried by using mobile is mobile commerce. Social commerce means by means of social media. You can call it as a social commerce. Then the e-commerce technologies are there. Amongst the many e-commerce technology, EDI is very important one, which is the electronic interchange business information. So it's very important concept, my dear friends, that what is EDI? It is electronic document interchange. Now, why to go for electronic document interchange? That you'll have to explain to your students. That let us take an example that if I am a businessman, maybe I'm having a shop and I have hundreds of items in my shop to be sold. So there is some level called as the reorder level is there, that whenever a particular good reaches to that particular level of goods, say for example, if I'm selling a product named X, so if I'm ordering every time 100 and if it reaches to 20, so that is minimum order level has reached, so directly I should go for new purchase. So with different purchases, again, if I have to make list every now and then, so it is going to be time consuming, because every day in our new uh, world of internet, people want everything very faster. So if I am going to waste my time in writing the lists, and then again it is going to be go to my supplier, again my supplier is going to write the list and give to its various departments, there will be a big time lag, and during this it may happen that certain things may get excluded, something may get more added, so it will lead to some confusion and the goods will not reach in time to my store. So instead what I will do is that I'll agree upon some certain standards of communication with my uh, partners, business partners. I'll ask them that yes, this is the standard format in which I'm going to communicate with you. I'll make some list, I'll put those list, add the items. This is predefined list is going to be there. I'm going to add the items which I want. I'll put the quantities and I'll set immediately across the internet to my prospective, my business partners. They'll immediately sort out the things and send the list electronically. So there is no time gap actually in writing the things, and again to avoid those typographical mistakes done by the clerical persons while they are using while they are writing those needs on your order papers. So that particular time gap is removed in EDI, electronic data interchange. So it is a faster way of exchanging orders between the customers and the buyers, or the suppliers or the buyers in normal business environment. The next thing is the e-governance. E-governance, it broadly covers the following types of e-governance: government to citizen, government to business, government to government, and government to employee. I'll let you know that what is the different websites that are possible is that for different Department of Agriculture of Maharashtra, there is krishi.maharashtra.gov. Then for Government of Maharashtra, there is applicatesarkar.com. So many other websites are there. You let them know that what are the various websites that are available for connecting with the government. So those websites through which you are going to contact with your government is nothing but the e-governance. You also let them know that what is uh, RTI. This is a very happening thing. It's a big tool in the hands of our citizens that has been awarded by our government. We can ask them that by filing an RTI through e-governance websites, you can get any information which you want to get from your government. So that is the beauty of e-governance. Within no time you get, the time lag is removed, then the distance which you'll have to travel to that particular person, it has been reduced. You can at any moment you can file an email, you can fire an email, you can fire a text message to the person who is intended to take care of your problems with the help of this e-governance website. I've taken the help of this e-governance for RTI for our IT people. Then the next is the security measures in e-commerce. Security refers to the principles which guide the safe electronic transactions. Remember, dear friends, that security has been always the major concern in every type of transaction, maybe manual transaction or maybe in electronic transactions. So when it comes to uh, electronic transactions, the security measures that we are going to take care of is encryption, digital signatures, and digital cert. Regarding encryption, you let your student know that what are the different types of encryption strategies that can be employed, what is digital signature, how it differs from the normal signature, what is the modes or what is the way with which we can acquire a digital signature. You can let them understand that the digital signature example is that they have got their certificates, many government certificates now they come up with digital signatures. Probably those students who are having the caste certificates, on their caste certificates are digitally signed by these authorities. So you could say those barcodes and those digital symbols over there which marks digital signatures. So if the students are able to understand this, yeah, this is digital signatures, so they love studying this topic. Then the next thing is the digital certificate. There are digital certificates awarded. So what are the different ways with which we can acquire digital certificates? These things are to be taken care while we are going to explain to our students the security measures in e-commerce. So before winding all these things, I'll recall all these things together. That be very careful, give some day-to-day live examples to our students so that they love studying information technology. If they love studying information technology, we'll have good inflow for our course, and thus it will be helpful for our fraternity. So with this, I conclude all the chapters with reinforcements through exercise, or you can reinforce these things with exercise. So with this, I conclude this my session. Thank you, my dear friends. I'll ask my colleague, Mr. Atul Patil, sir, to continue with the session. Atul Patil, sir, please continue with the session.
Thank you, Darwa, sir. Myself, Atul Patil from Nasik Division. Good afternoon, Honorable State Board Officers, all IT teachers. Today we have gathered here for virtual meeting for IT subject evaluation training program. Here today I am going to say about unit test and terminal exam question paper pattern of our IT subject. We know that unit test and terminal exam plays very important role in continuous evaluation of students. Now let us see about unit test exam pattern. 12 science unit test paper pattern. Total marks 25. Time durations 1 hour 30 minutes. Question number 1. Fill in the blank space. It contains 5 sub questions. Each will carry 1 mark. So question number 1 is of 5 marks. Question number 2. Statement true or false. It contains 5 sub questions. Each will carry 1 mark. So question number 1 is of 5 marks. Question number 3. Multiple choice, 2 correct answers, where 5 sub questions with option will be 5. Ask each sub question will carry 2 marks. So question 4 will be of 10 marks. Question number 4. Write a HTML program. Here 2 programs will be asked. Students have to write any one. This question will be of 5 marks. Note the suggested chapters for unit test 1, chapter 1 and chapter 2. The unit test 2, it can be designed with above format and suggested. Chapter 5 and chapter 6, question number 4 from the above format can be replaced by answer in brief for unit test 2. Now let us see terminal exam paper pattern. Hello. Question number 1, fill in the blanks, contains sub questions, each will carry 1 mark. So question number 1 is of 5 marks. Question number 2, statement true or false. It contains 5 sub questions, each carry 1 mark. So question number 1 is of 5 marks. Question number 3, multiple choice, single answer, contain 10 sub question, each carry 1 mark. So question number 3 is of 10 marks. Question number 4, multiple choice, 2 correct answers. It contain 5 sub questions with option will be 5. Ask each sub question carry 2 marks. So question number 4 will be 10 marks. Question number 5, multiple choice, 3 correct answers contain 2 sub questions with option will be 6. Ask each sub question carry 3 marks. So question number 5 will be 6 mark. Question number 6, match the following. This question will carry 4 marks. Question number 7a part, write a HTML program where 2 program will be asked. Student have to write any one. This question will be 5 marks. Question number 7b part, write a program using JavaScript where 2 programs will be asked. Students have to write any one. These questions will be of 5 marks. Note, the chapters suggested for terminal paper are chapter 1, 2 and 3. Thank you. Now I am request to Mr. Vishal Shinde for next sessions.
Okay, thank you, Atul Patil sir. Good afternoon, everybody. I am Vishal Ramchandra Shinde from Modoji High School and Junior College, Fulton, Kolhapur Division. Just Atul Patil sir explained the paper format for unit test 25 marks, terminal exam for 50 marks. Here, we are going to learn question paper format for 80 marks. This question paper format is used in preliminary exam or board online exam. For 80 marks, time duration is 2 hours and 30 minutes. So let's see proposed question paper online examination format for 80 marks. Question number 1, fill in the blanks. Number of questions 10. Each question carry 1 mark, total mark 10. Question number 2, state true or false. Number of questions 10. 10 marks means each question carry 1 mark. Question number 3, multiple choice, single answer. 10 marks, number of questions 10. 10 marks, each question carry 1 mark. Question number 4, multiple choice, 2 correct answers. Number of questions 10 for 20 marks. Each question carry 2 marks. Question number 5, multiple choice, 3 correct answers. Number of questions 2, 6 marks. Each question carry 3 marks. Question number 6, match the following. 4 questions, 4 marks. Question number 7, answer briefly any 5. In this question, total number of questions are 8, but students have to solve any 5 questions. Each question have 2 marks, total marks 10. Question number 8a, write a program using HTML. In this question, there are 2 programs on HTML topic. Students have to solve any one program for 5 marks. Question number 8B. Write a program using JavaScript. In this question, there are also 2 programs on JavaScript topic. Students have to solve any one program for 5 marks. Thus, this is the question paper format for 80 marks for preliminary exam and board online exam. Thank you. May I request Gayatri Madam, please continue.
Thank you, Vishal sir. Hello viewers. After the question paper format, I will be talking about the evaluation of a student through practicals and then the chapter-wise distribution of marks and weightage respectively, a little more elaborately. Let us have a look at the practical format. As a part of their practical SOPs should be performed as mentioned in the skill sets after the chapters in the 12th standard science textbook. We have already covered this a little earlier also. However, during the practical examination from this year, the student will perform only one practical for 15 marks. So this is a major change that we have. Student will be performing only one practical for 15 marks. The bifurcation of marks for the same are as follows. Handwritten code, 5 marks. Correct typing and syntax, 5 marks. Execution, 3 marks. And printout, 2 marks. So if a child has written the code properly on this paper, answer supplement, he gets 5 marks. Post that, when he types it on the machine and syntactically, if it is all correct, he gets 5 marks. On execution, after showing the output, he gets 3 marks. And for the printout, it is 2 marks. So it makes a total of 15 marks. If the child submits a complete and certified journal, he gets 5 marks. Please note, from this year, it is 5 marks for a complete and certified journal. So in all, it makes it 20 marks for the practical. Teachers should, however, note that a minimum of 12 practicals has to be entered in their journals. However, for this academic year, we will be discussing the reduced syllabus in a while. But as of now, the teachers have to make a note that 12 practicals have to be entered in the bifurcation as stated earlier. Exam practical slips should contain 2 questions on 2 different skill sets, out of which student will opt any one. We will move a little ahead and understand how this is to be done. Can we move a little ahead? So we are continuing with the evaluation pattern of a practical examination. SOPs are to be covered from each skill set. As I told you earlier, minimum of 12 SOP to be covered as specified in the skill-oriented section of textbook based on each stream. Journals to be a combination of handwritten codes and printout of the same. It should be finally certified by the IT teacher before examination. However, for the academic year, the current academic year 2021, it is completely at the discretion of the IT teacher to decide whether the journal has to be handwritten or a soft copy, depending on the then pandemic situation. So I repeat once again, when you're compiling the journal, we have to ensure that the journal has a set of both handwritten codes as well as printouts, and the journal has to be certified by the IT teacher. We'll see in the next slide. Along with the practicals which have been entered, the journal should also contain a certificate and an index, which is of great importance. And especially the certificate page, we should ensure that there is a provision made for the internal examiner's signature, external examiner's signature, college seal, date, and if there are any authority over and about the IT teacher, like maybe the vice principal, principal, or HOD, the signature of theirs also should be there. exam practical slips. Coming on to how do we conduct the practical exam. Exam practical slip should contain 2 questions on 2 different skill sets. So what will the teacher be doing during the practical is that you have the answer supplement. On that, you have to staple 2 exam practical slips. And when you're stapling the 2 slips, we have to ensure that one slip should be an SOP 1 from skill set 1, and the other slip, we are giving them an internal choice now. So the other slip should be a SOP 2 or SOP 1 or SOP 3 from skill set 2. So here what we have to take care is that one practical has to be from skill set 1, and the second practical can be an SOP from either skill set 2 or skill set 3. But you cannot have 2 same questions, 2 SOPs coming from the same skill set. Teachers, please kindly make a note of it. And while conducting the practical exam, it's a humble request to all teachers to follow the norms. On the answer supplement, staple both the slips, let the student decide which SOP he wants to attempt, and the teacher thereby, the external examiner, can sign on the slip on which he has to be performing, on which he needs to be performing. And then the child can take the answer supplement and start writing the codes and follow the procedure. We will also be discussing the proposed topic-wise mark distribution or weightage. If you look at this, we have the topics which we have to cover, we have the marks, and we have the marks with options. So if we consider the first topic, advanced web designing, the marks allocated for this chapter is 20, but the marks with options, if you see, is 25. This is because we have an option which we give them in question 8A. Hence, the marks with option is 25. But whereas the total marks allotted for this chapter is 20. Coming to introduction to SEO, the marks allotted are 10. And if you see, there is 12 marks with option. Why? Because there's an answer briefly which will be coming from here. And this year onwards, we have internal choice for answer briefly as well. So the student will be attempting any 5 questions from 8. So there is an extra question over here. Hence, the marks with option is 12. Advanced JavaScript is 15 marks. Again, the 8B question comes from here and we give them an internal choice. So we have 20 marks with options. Emerging technologies is for 10 marks and marks with option is 12. So here also, it's very evident that the answer briefly questions are going to be asked from emerging technologies. Hence, the 2 marks with option mentioned there. Server-side scripting is for 15 marks. So we have all objective-based questions out here. E-commerce and e-governance is for 10 marks. And again, the marks with option is for 12 marks. So here again, we come to know that there is an answer briefly question which is going to be asked from e-commerce and e-governance. So if you have a closer look at the mark distribution, it is very evident that from introduction to SEO, emerging technologies, and e-commerce and e-governance, we will be having answer briefly questions coming up. And from advanced web designing and from advanced JavaScript, we will be having the question 8A, 8B, that is the programs which will be coming up. Total, we have the paper for 80 marks distributed amongst all the 6 chapters. And with options, the paper will be for 96 marks. We now move on to the next slide. Here we will be going through the proposed objective-wise weightage. So when we are setting a question paper, we'll also have to take into consideration the objective. In the sense, how are we going to, the criterias that we are going to consider while choosing questions on setting a question paper. So if you look at it carefully, there are 4 criterias that we have here. The question should be knowledge-based, comprehension-based, application-based, and skill-based. So we have 15 marks which we have allotted for knowledge-based questions, which is going to be split over the entire objective type questions as well as the programs. Comprehension for 21 marks, application for 24 marks, and skill-based questions for 20 marks. So this makes it 80 marks. And if you look at the weightage on the types of questions that we have, so we have about 60 objective type questions. So when I say objective type, here I mean fill in the blanks, true or false, multiple choice single answer, multiple choice 2 correct answers, multiple choice 3 correct answers. We have matched the column. So the entire 60 marks is going to be distributed amongst these objective type questions. We then have the answer briefly coming up as short answers. So we have 10 marks allocated for that. We have 10 marks for long answers. That is none other than your programs of 8A and 8B questions. So in all, we have again about 80 marks weightage for the type of questions that we will be asking in our question paper. We now move on to the next slide. The proposed total questions with marks. So overall, when you take up your question paper should be having in all about 80 marks worth questions. So if we go to see the bifurcation of number of questions, I repeat, number of questions, so we should be having about 53 questions plus 5 optional questions. So let us have a look at how these optional questions are distributed and the other questions also. So if you see, there are about 34 1-mark questions in our paper. As I told you, we have fill in the blanks, we have true or false, and we have multiple choice single answer and match the column. So these are the topics which will be having a 1-mark question. We now move on to the next one, that is 2 marks questions. So we'll be having a total of 15 plus 3. So these questions will be comprising of multiple choice 2 correct answers and short answers. In short answers, 5 answers are to be attempted by the children and there will be 3 optional internal choice for them. So those are the 3 optional questions that we have mentioned here on the slide. It makes in all 30 marks. We have about 3 marks questions, 2 questions for 3 marks. And so we have 6 marks distribution here. We have 2 questions for 5 marks each. That is the 8A and 8B with 2 internal options. Hence, 10 mark distribution out there. So in all, if you total it up, we have about 53 questions with 5 optional questions, 3 coming from short answers and 2 coming from the long answer, that is your programs. So in all, it makes it about 80. May I now request Rupali Brahme madam to take over from here.
Good afternoon, all teachers. We will begin with some of the very important points. Like say, we are going to have a standard for IT. What standard means? Whatever we will follow the given rules by the HSC board. So we will come to know all the rules, whichever is there for the evaluation via this next slides. So teachers, just here, some of the SOPs are kept for the self-evaluation. So that we will see in briefly, though you have this PDF with you, we will have a brief discussion about this here as well, because many of the teachers are asking this again and again, which part should be kept for self-learning for the students. So this you are supposed to see in these slides, next slides, like say some of the topics as well as some of the SOPs, you can keep it for self-learning part for the students. So let us see which are that. So first, once you will start the 11th and 12th standard first semester, already we have come to the end of that. We have to do the proper planning for the particular syllabus. Now we have only half semester with us. So within this even half semester, we will able to complete, if not completed yet, some of the SOPs. Only 7 SOPs are expected to have in the journal. Minimum 7 are expected. You can take more, but the completion of the journal can be given for the 7 SOPs. So you can accept your journal in the your practicals in the form of presentation, or you can accept it online as well in the current situation only for this year. So depending on your local situation, you can make use of the Android apps or online any app to make use of the uh, make use of the softwares which will be available for executing your SOPs. So even you can have some of the labs, if you can have the social distancing, you can allocate. That will be totally decision of the college and the teacher. So let us go ahead for the next slide. Now this part is very important, which you must know about this one. Already you might have read it. I am going to repeat it because there are some discrepancy in this one in some teachers. So here from the chapter 3rd, that is advanced JavaScript, we are going to keep math object, date object and array object for self-learning. That is these three objects we are keeping as for non-evaluative. What non-evaluative means? We will not be asking any kind of question on these objects in our examinations. On these three objects, there won't be any kind of a question in board examination as well, only for this year. So page number 45 for math object, page number 46 for date object, and array object is on page number 47. So only these three objects which are there on 45, 46 and 47 page, we are going to keep it for self-learning for the students. Teachers, please note that AI topic we have also kept for self-learning for the students, which is there on the page number 56. Note that we have 5G and that will be there for evaluation. Only AI topic we have kept for self-learning from emerging technologies. So you are going to teach 5G for your final board examination. You will include that, as well as you will include other topics, all other topics from emerging technologies. So make it clear that only AI topic from the emerging technologies is for the self-learning. Teachers also note that from PHP, we have kept PHP associative array, multidimensional array, and form connectivity with database. These three topics for the self-learning. Make it clear that page number 66, 67, and from page number 70 to 73, these topics are there. Teachers note that there is an index array also in PHP. Indexed array we will need for SOP. So we have kept that for the examination. So only these three topics will be there for self-learning for the students. And questions on all these topics, which is there on your screen, will not be asked for HSC board examination, only for this year. We have concept of cookies also over there after this in this chapter. So that is not mentioned over here. So, but obviously that will be there for the examination, and that is the part of evaluation syllabus. So here, these are the points you should note down. Now, very important thing, what should be done in the practicals. Just now, my two colleagues has already discussed that there should be only minimum seven practicals should be there in the journal. You can, however, you can take extra practicals, but here from advanced JavaScript, student can have SOP 6 and SOP 7 for self-learning. And we have also kept note this very important that SOP 3, SOP 4, you can note down the numbers, SOP 3, SOP 4, SOP 5 and SOP 7 from PHP, which is there on page number 96, will be there for self-learning for the students. Students, if they want to have extra study and if they want to learn IT more, they can go for these 6 SOPs which is specified on your screen. So these are, instead of SOP 6, SOP 7 can be kept for self-evaluation or self-learning, we will say. And it is all these 6 SOPs we will not keep for practical evaluation. So let us go for the general guidelines for the paper setter. Many of you might be following this, that your question paper will have your name of the college when you're conducting, that a year will be there, followed by name of the examination will be there, whether you are conducting a unit test or midterm examination, or whether it is a prelim examination. So name of the examination you are going to keep in the heading part of your question paper. Teachers, you need to specify the stream. Your subject code is 97 for science. That also you should specify in your question paper. Standard 12 you will specify. You will specify date and time also on the question paper in the header part. If you required, you can put note for the students on the question paper, whatever you wish. In the footer part, always mention a page number. Like if there are 4 pages, you can put 1 of 4, 2 of 4, and so on. So this is a good practice to have a page number like in this format on every page, so that if any of the page is missing, student will come to know that yes, 4th page I haven't received, or maybe received blank. So this is a good practice to have the page number in this format. Let us go for how to design the questions for online examination, or even the examination you conduct in the board format at your college. So many teachers are expert in designing this one. Still I'm telling this because there are many mistakes done in while designing the questions. Even newcomers will come to know how to design the questions. The framing of the questions must be simple and clear. Easy, whatever the statements you can give, not complicated statements, you should frame in the question. For the fill in the blanks, do not ask question which has 2 answers. Like say here, example I have given, to create a server side scripting, dash is used. Suppose here student may write answer as PHP or ASP, which are both scripting languages. So such kind of questions must be avoided for fill in the blanks. If you want to ask such kind of a question, you may put that in the single answer or in multiple choice 2 correct answer question. As maximum as possible, avoid blanks at the beginning. So this is a very bad practice to have a fill in the blanks at the beginning. Observe, dash is used for server side scripting. So such kind of a question must be omitted, fill in the blanks must come. See, I have converted the dash is used for server side scripting to create a server side scripting, dash is used. Like this, you can change the question to, you can change the framing so that the fill in the blanks will come after, in between or after the end. You must form the question which has unique or unambiguous answer. Selection of the proper word is very important. For example, here, disadvantage of e-commerce is dash here, and dash is another area of concern. So here, if somebody answers, there are many areas of concerns. So here, security answer, if you are expecting, that can be a privacy answer, that can be any other answer, that can be any other concern. So you should not take any of the word to remove the word and put that sentence which is there in the textbook and put in the question paper. So please think properly whether the question you are framing has the correct meaning or not. So this is very, because this question in last prior examinations also, those many of you are quite senior and they have faced the online examinations prior. So you know this, the security question was one of the very badly designed questions that was from e-commerce only. You might be remembering, those who are having experience of online examination, they know that the security is an organizational concern. That was the wrong question was there in prior question bank. So such of the questions you must omit here. So let us see how to design true and false questions. So in true and false questions, that whatever you are going to design, you are not going to put any of the sentence from the textbook and put it for true and false. So there should be some learning outcome for the students. You are supposed to focus on important idea or some of the good relationship between the question and what you are going to teach from that particular question for the true and false. design a question in such a way that it will have only one answer. Definitely, like it will be either a true statement, yes, any, no, there should not be any discrepancy that the answer can be a false. I see over here on your screen, you made it. To achieve this, do not restrict on textbook knowledge. What I mean to say is, for example, in textbook, some of the operating system is not specified. Let us say OS/2 is not specified. And if somebody writes OS/2 is an operating system. So if that is a statement is true, but that is not specified in the textbook, that does not mean that statement becomes a false. So even if the statement which is outside your textbook, but which is true, you should not specify such kind of a statements in true or false. You must avoid grammatical and formatting errors, typo errors in your question paper. Let us see what we should do for the multiple choice questions. In multiple choice questions, the number of distractors, number of options from which user is going to select answer, user means our students are going to select answer. We are going to keep standard over here, which is we will have for the final board examination as well, online examination. So for that, we will have for multiple choice single answer question, 4 distractors we will provide, that is 4 options. Out of that, 1 correct answer, so student is going to select. For the question multiple choice 2 correct answers, we will provide 5 distractors or 5 options. Out of that, student is going to select 2 correct answers. For the multiple choice 3 correct answers, we are going to provide 6 options for the you students. Out of the 6 options, student is going to choose 3 correct answers. While keeping the distractors, you have to keep all the answer choices with same length. What same length means? Number of characters I'm talking about. It might not be exact same number of characters, but it should be quite similar, because this may happen that the correct answer may have the more characters. So this should not differ. So if you provide the similar number of characters, that will be better in case of multiple choice distractors. You should avoid double negatives, as you may see the example, which is of other language, but such thing also can happen in our programs like JavaScript. We have is an n function. So NaN stands for not a number. So in that, double negation may come in such kind of a question. So such kind of a questions which has double negation must be avoided. Mix up the order of correct answers, means while designing your question paper, for example, in question number 3, you are going to ask 10 questions. So in that 10 questions, you should not put the answer sequence, like say question number 3, 1 is having answer A first, that is A option. Second answer is B, third is C, and so on D. Because I have observed some of the teachers do so because they feel easy while checking the answer sheets. So you should not do like this. Even the sequence should not be all A or all B or something like that. So this order of correct answers you should mix up while designing the question paper. This is very important. You must avoid the questions which has distractors, all the above or none of the above. Better you provide any other distractor over there. Teachers, do remember that if you don't have any distractors to provide, you may change the question or you may change that question to another format. But do not provide the distractors which are totally different. For example, here is the question, which is one of the operating system. So here I have provided the options of the softwares only. Like I have provided Windows, Solaris, MS Office, and Tally. Now here observe Solaris and Windows both are the operating systems. Though the Solaris is not there in your textbook, if not specified in your textbook, then still it is a correct answer. So you should not provide such kind of an answer which is correct, though it is not there in the textbook. So you have to take care that whatever distractor you are providing, that may be the part of the textbook or outside the textbook, but that must be the totally wrong answer. Other answer should be totally wrong over here. Only Windows should be correct in this particular example. Observe one more example I have given in 7th point, that the other distractors are totally different. Like which is one of the operating system. So here Windows is expected answer, but other options are not softwares at all. So connectivity, network, broadband are the other distractors which I have provided over here. So this should not be like this, because the other distractors, if they are totally different, easily the student will come guess the answer. So such kind of a thing must be avoided while designing the question paper. So the distractors must be similar to each other, so that the student should have the correct knowledge. If he or she has, then only he will able to select the correct one. You must avoid the fill in the blanks in the multiple choice. So the example of operating dash, instead of asking such question, you can convert it into which is one of the example system. Likewise, you can change. If required, at one or two places, you may put the fill in the blanks, but expected that you are going to change it in the question format like this. So this is the best way to design the question in multiple choice questions. So let us see. Just Gayatri has explained, Gayatri madam has explained that you will be having the question paper format like this, that you have to have knowledge based questions of 15 marks. So comprehension based 21 marks, application based 24 marks, and skill based 20 marks. So many of IT teachers have the B.Ed, and as it's not compulsory by some of the GR, so we will see in brief what is the knowledge based question means. So to test the knowledge, simply what knowledge the student has, such kind of a questions will be there in your question paper. So these questions can be what is or how is or something like this. Here one of the example I have given. So select the attribute of the image tag in HTML5. So what that means, students need to know at all the attributes of the image tag. So this is the knowledge of the students, that he will be having knowledge of the image tag and its attributes. So this is just a knowledge given in the textbook. So these are the types through which you can test the knowledge of the students, means that, but all the questions must not be based on the knowledge, because if you have the questions only on the knowledge, students will just go on learning the chapter and they will just mug up it, and they will not learn skills and applications which we require for the IT. Let us see what is comprehension based. You can put the comparison questions or contrast questions in this. What you can say about, or state some rules or state some methods, or you can put like this. You can design the question in your own words. You can ask the questions to explain the steps for particular program or particular, say, task, like how to save the file in PHP or something like that, or how to create and execute the file use in PHP, or steps to execute the PHP file, like student need to type the path in Internet Explorer and so on. So such kind of questions can be asked in comprehension based. So these are one of the sample example. This is from 11th standard question, but to come to know what is a comprehension based, I gave compare hardware and software. Now in 12th, you have server side scripting and client side scripting we have also comparison of the traditional commerce and e-commerce also. So such kind of a question is a comprehension based question. One more test questions, teachers application based questions should be asked for 24 marks. Such questions can be of the format, how would you use, or what example you find to, or it can be what would be the result if you write the code like this. So this is the better application based program in case of our IT. So what it is, I have given one sample question, application based. What will be the output of the following PHP code? So here the PHP code has been provided, which is testing the students knowledge as well as students application. Means students will come to know how, if they come to know how the string length executes, if they come to know how it works, then how to apply it, then here the student will able to answer that my string will be passed to the here in my string hello will be passed, and it will find out the length of the hello. So if the student comes to know that index number is given from 0 in case of PHP, so for H 0 index number will be given, for E 1 index number will be given, and so on. Though the index number is 0, the length is going to give the value 5. So over here it should print 5 for the hello. This the student will come to know by applying the string length and function over here for the my string. So such kind of a questions can be designed by using the for loop or even if statement, so that the student will apply his knowledge. So applying the knowledge comes in the application based questions. So this is all about the application based questions in our question paper. So let us have skill based. So skill based questions are nothing but you write a program questions may come in this one. So you are asking students to apply the logic. For example, you may ask students to check whether given string is palindrome or not, or to print say 5 to 1 program. So in that, student will come to know how to apply the for loop, how to increment or decrement, and how it works logically. He will execute dry run during examination in his mind, and he will try to think logically for writing the program. So programming skills, right? Logical skills. Programming skill means syntax and how to write on a loop, how to write on a statements to so that the computer will give the proper result and execute the statements in proper manner. So designing the code web page is also comes in the skill based part, because every students, you already all know, might have completed SOP 1. In many colleges they might have completed SOP 1 and 2. So whatever in that simple, it is mentioned that the students need to create web pages their own, maybe one web pages, two web pages, whatever. So in that, always ask students to make use of their own ideas. For example, company based web page if you are designing, so in that case, give the freedom to the students to design their own. So that will be a skill based question. So over there, student is going to apply his knowledge as well as his programming skills both at the time, and he is going to design a best website. So here, instead of copying the topics of each other, ask the students to give the names, different names for the topic of the website. So theme of the website should be different, ideally for every students. So here, designing the code will be the best skill based questions over there. So here in question number 8, you will be having 8A question for writing the designing part over there, and question number 8B will test the logical and programming skills of the students. So the skill based questions, how many the skill based questions should be there? Here 20 questions should be there, 20 marks question should be there based on the skill. So that questions not only for the question number 8 A and B, that can be as a part of what will be the output and so on. So here let us see what should be the rules for the brief answers. Teachers, just see, while asking the brief answer question this year, this is a major difference you might have observed, that instead of asking the questions like prior, those who are already have experience of the online examination, they know we were having the 4, 4 and 2 pattern for the question number 7. 3 questions were there in prior examination. But now the major difference is this year we have 2 marks questions of the student has to solve 5 questions of 2 marks. So over there, it's very short question that should be designed for this one. It should not be very long answer question. Like say here, I have mentioned that the question should be a direct question and well stated with a complete sentence. It should not be half question. And here that must have the brief answer. You should not ask the question like describe and so on in this. If you want to ask such kind of a question, you should be precise while writing the question. Here you are going to write down, for example, write any features of PHP instead of writing like this. If you clearly state that, write any 4 features of PHP, that will be easy for making the model answer as well, because you in that you can state that there will be 2 marks divided into 4 points. So obviously one feature will get the half mark. If you specify, simply write any features, how to distribute the marks, that will be a problematic over here. And that students also will have the problem that how many features needed to write, 1, 2, or maybe 4 or 8. So if you specify precisely the question, that will be better for the students as well as for creating the model answer as well. Let us see the rules for writing, asking the question regarding the program or coding type. So this question is said to check the programming and logical skills. Just now we have seen that, and that will be asked in question number 8 and 8A and 8B. In 11th standard day, you may ask that is the project or program to design the code in HTML5. You may ask students to have the practice programs based on HTML5 regardless of the SOPs. You may program because the question number 8A is having the HTML program question. So programs can be must be very short, clear, and simple to understand. Students should come to know what is being expected in the output, because we are not going to provide any kind of image in the question paper. So obviously it is expected that your printed paper also will not have any kind of an image. So here you are going to clear your statements in such a way that what output you are expecting that students will come to know. For example, design the form in that accept the name of the student and accept the password, and restrict the students from entering only 30 characters. So obviously max length is expected. Or put a submit button having a image on it. So obviously input type equal to image is expected. Or accept a name of the employee and accept the telephone number having the pattern, and you can provide the particular pattern. So that pattern can be provided by using the pattern attribute of the input tag. So such questions you can design your own by specifying the correct output by using the text. It is very important to see the thinking level of the student, because what you are going to design depending design in the question, that will be the you may think some of the other output, but student may think in other levels. So you should know what you are stating, that should be stated clearly in the question 8B. Now let us see what the model question paper and model answer paper should be. So rules of the model answer paper here: paper setter must provide accurate answer for the objective type of question, because as you all know that question number 2 to question number 6, all it is checked by the computer, and question number 7 and 8 are assessed by the examiners. Question number fill in the blanks 1 is also assessed by the teachers. Precise statements with the description is based on the question contents. And for the program code, if the program code is correct, give full marks for the correct structure, correct syntax, and correct logic. This is all about model answer. I would like to request Neha madam to explain how we are going to give the marks for question number 8B for the correct syntax and correct structure and correct logic. I will hand over the presentation and the slide to Neha madam. Thank you.
Whenever you design a program, while correcting, it is mandatory that student writes the correct structure. So whenever he wants, when a student has started designing his program or is given you, is a paper is right in front of you, basically 1 mark will be allocated for the structure. Then you have to see whether the structure, whether the syntax which is expected is perfectly correct. For example, if an image tag is given and the student tries to end the image tag, obviously you cannot have an end tag to it. So though the image is going to be seen, the syntax is not correct. So likewise, you're going to check for the correct syntax, and accordingly you're going to give the marks. Then the correct logic. Wherever required, it is mandatory to use a decision making structure or a looping structure. So on that base, you're going to apply the structures, and you have to see to it that the students are exactly following the logic required. So syntax and logic are going to go hand in hand, and accordingly you're going to give the marks. But everybody has to note that the exact structure is definitely going to give 1 mark to the student. So with this, I think the rules are over, and we will move over to the blueprint. Now, all of you so far have seen the different objectives, like the objective of setting a question paper based on the number of marks, the type of questions, and then the educational domains like your knowledge, the comprehension, the application, and skill. Now, whenever you try to club all this together, you come with a chart which is called as a blueprint. Now, this blueprint is a very important document in the educational arena whenever you need to set a paper. Okay, so many of the schools, you can say, on colleges, make this document compulsory before setting a paper. So in short, it is a 3D chart, okay, and is a link between your assessment and the learning objectives. So exactly allocating the correct marks based on the domain is represented by means of using a blueprint. So far you have seen that now what is knowledge. In a nutshell, 1-line sentence I would like to tell you that whenever you try to design your paper, okay, where some marks are allocated for knowledge, 1 line it will be, it is something the student needs to know exactly. There is no any second option available. That is knowledge. Whenever the student needs to explain something, whenever he needs to comprehend, like a best example was given, when you need to compare and contrast, okay, find the difference or compare, okay, and then the explanation, try to evaluate a particular answer. So that becomes comprehension. Writing more than 1 line is comprehending. Okay, so that comes under comprehension. Application is applying something what is learned. So whenever I say that if an image is to be inserted with a specific dimension, okay, so in order to have that dimension of a specific size, a student needs to have some special attributes mentioned in the IMD tag. Okay, so now we are just telling him that you try to change the dimension or apply some dimension. So now he has to apply the attributes which he has studied. So applying the knowledge is application level, and skill means he tries to create something out of application. And as said, programs are the best testing level questions for such type of domain. Now, as well said, blueprint is a matrix which states the number and type of question. It ensures that all the aspects of curriculum and educational domains are covered. Now, I'll just put up one slide which will give you a comprehensive idea about the blueprint. Those who have studied the B.Ed course, okay, are quite familiar with this terminology. In Marathi, we call it as संविधान तक्ता. तर ह्या संविधान तक्त्यामध्ये तुमचे सगळे चॅप्टर्स असतात आणि educational domains, and it gives you a reflection of a 3D chart. Okay, so it is a 3-dimensional chart which exactly acknowledges the different domains and assesses the knowledge of students from every angle. So what you can see here is, if you see in chart here, in the bracket, okay, whatever digits you can see are in the figures in the bracket are the marks. So here, for the first chapter, objective-based questions, if you see, for 1 mark will be 3. Fine. So, you are going to design such, a type of data at the end in order to generate a question paper, which will be exactly as per the given domains. It will be exactly as per the given question and the number of questions as well. Okay, so here, if you see, it is a very cryptic model, you can say, which is being displayed. I will give you one more example, and then I will just show you a small layout. When you concretely see this together, you will get to see one chart which fixes up the total number of questions against fill in the blanks. That is 1 mark. Total number of questions are against 3 marks, 2 marks, and etc. So now coming to this particular section where we are going to have 3 marks. Now here, if you see, I have given in the bracket 3 and 1. So this indicates that we are going to ask 1 question of 3 marks from chapter which is web publishing. Likewise, if you come down the line, that is in for chapter 5, server-side scripting, again, if you see here, against the application-based objective type of question, you have here 3 marks in the bracket, which indicate that there will be 1 question based on PHP, okay, for 3 marks. So this is actually a very descriptive model covering all the domains. If I go on speaking about it, is going to take all the more time. You can have a view of this, like again here, skill-based questions, we have managed to ask 2 marks questions, okay, and there will be 2 questions again on server side. Coming to this particular comprehension part, against S, that is for short answer, if you see here O, S, and L, they refer to objective, short answer, and long answer. So each domain is going to have this segregation. And coming to this comprehensions short answer section, as discussed earlier by our madam, you have here, the question which is being asked as an option. Okay, so here you are asking 2 mark 1 question, okay, for SEO. So 1 will be a compulsory question which student will be solving, and then along with that, you're going to have 1 more optional question from this chapter, that is SEO. Again, here for emerging technologies, as we have discussed, we have said that you will be having 2 questions which will be based on emerging technologies. They will carry 2 marks, and again, along with that, there will be 1 more question, okay, which will be optional. So in short, total 3 questions will be asked for answer in brief. Then again here, from e-commerce chapter as well, we have again put up the number of marks as 2 and number of questions which students are likely to solve compulsory will be 2, and 1 more will be optional. Okay, so this is a comprehensive question set through which a paper is going to be designed. Coming to the long answer aspect, I'm giving you 1 example from each. Coming to the long answer aspect, which we said that the long answers are for us, okay, based on programs. So as a student creates, okay, with his own logic and skills, or he designs a code, it is going to be under the skill-based category. And you will see here the optional marks are being given here. So 1 mark, 1 question of 5 marks with an alternate question, or the other question, alternate question. Likewise, from JavaScript compulsory, you'll be having 1 question, okay, and or for it. There will be no questions asked for programming on PHP. So it will be more a coverage of objective aspect for chapter number 5, that is server-side scripting. Next, we will see a comprehensive data now here. So the next slide is a trump card, you can say, in order to design your question paper. So now you'll see, precisely we have defined the question 1 along with the chapter name and how many marks it is going to carry. Okay, so you're based on that blueprint. Okay, this model has been created where there is an effective distribution of your marks, okay, based on the entire domains and the question. So in short, I'll just read out because we have half an hour for question answer series. So yeah, for the first question, for the first chapter, so I've just put up the short forms of all your chapters. So for the first chapter, if you see fill in the blanks, you will be having two questions. True or false will be one. MCQ with single correct answer, you'll be having two questions. For correct two answers, okay, so now these are marks. Okay, so you will be having three questions, marks will be 6. Okay, because two in into 3, 6. So this, the domains as well as you will be having 1 mark, right? So this is related to the objective part, and then this comes up to 15. Then at the end, your question number 8, which has an or, is going to have 5 marks question, totaling your chapter weightage to 20. Likewise, we have distributed the marks for SEO, for fill in the blanks, 2, 1 for true or false, MCQ 1, 2, 3, 2, 2. Now, if you see your question number 5 will not have a 3 marks question based on second chapter, third chapter, and fourth chapter. So now if you see here, question number 3 will be asked on chapter number 1 and chapter number 5. So now if you put it this across rightly, the designing of paper becomes pretty easy. Just you have to go on putting up your questions at the right point, okay, by allocating the right marks. Now here again, coming to match the following, they will not be asking, no, see, this is according to this blueprint. Okay, the question for 1 mark can be changed, okay? You can have some sort of own blueprint also, but this is what we have designed and we expect you all also to follow. Okay, so here we have tried to segregate the match the following for these chapters, like for web designing, we will be having match the pair related to 1 mark for web designing, SEO, advanced JavaScript, and the 5th chapter, that is PHP. Okay, so in short, this particular distribution enables you to understand which questions will not have any mark for a particular chapter, though the evaluation will be completed with all the domains being touched properly. Okay, so with this, we end our session for interaction and come up with you for the question answer series. Just give us a moment.
Neha, already I have given some of the answers to on the
Okay.
chat. Already I have started with still some of the questions we may take that how to conduct the practical,
Madam,
whether it is
we'll read out.
online or yeah, I'm
You have
reading
to
the
read out.
questions. Yeah, I'm
Yes.
asking the question from the here from the YouTube questions.
Yes.
So teachers, I'm requesting you to put the questions in the YouTube so that I will read out and answer you out. So this year we have 4 match of the following questions. Will there be according to the blueprint? Yes, that can be according to the, obviously we are going to follow the blueprint for online examination, but blueprint can be can have the flexibility, as I can say, isn't it, Neha ma'am?
Yes, see, it is, no, we are going to stick up to all this. But if you want, okay, you can design your own with a change with knowledge and application level domains. Okay, so the criteria will remain the same. The criteria is obviously going to remain the same, okay, as we have been putting up here.
Khatu, teacher is asking that for PHP practical, which software is used. So I will say that you can make use of the servers, and the textbook is quite enough to explain which software is to be used. So XAMPP server for Windows you can make use of, or even if you can try out the practicals on PHP as well. The steps of the PHP practicals are quite easy, and they have given step by step in the textbook very clearly. So if you have still doubt regarding how to conduct that PHP practical, you may take the help of any of us individually. Any other question? You can post your questions. Some of the questions we will pick
Okay,
up.
now I
If
would
your
like
questions,
to
I
hand
will just
over this
Nehal.
to Gayatri madam. Gayatri madam, please can you talk about the practicals? Few of them are having doubt related to practicals. So can you
Yes,
proceed?
madam. Yes, madam. I did see the questions which most of them I have asked, but I believe subsequently Rupali madam has answered a few questions. But as far as what I have presented, this is an overview of what it has to be done under normal circumstances. But under the current circumstances, yes, we do understand that the same kind of pattern is not possible. So you have been given an idea as to 12 practicals are compulsory under non-COVID conditions, but under COVID conditions, 7 practicals. So if you ask me, 7 practicals are compulsory? Yes, 7 practicals are compulsory. The next question that you have asked is how to conduct the practicals during the COVID condition, because students do not have laptop and they don't have any desktop. So teachers can probably make use of the laptop and explain to them, which you otherwise also are doing. But at the same time, you can take screenshots and show it to them. Plus, there are other apps available. Like, for example, you can use an Handwriter. You can use a text editor for your HTML and JavaScript codes. You can also use a Tinker and APHP for your, PHP codes. But if that is also inconvenient to the teachers, you can use your own laptop and PC and do it as stated in the textbook, and you can take them through screenshots of every practical that you have done, and then subsequently when things are a little settled, the children can be asked to perform practicals. So the entire theory portion can be completed with them, and practicals like skill set 1 and skill set 2 can also be completed. So if you're having a problem, maximum would be the problem with skill set 3. That also you have apps. Being IT teachers, we just need to search a little bit. There are apps like Tinker and APHP. But besides that, if you still are having problem, do the practicals on your laptop. Let them have a screenshot of page by page of what you're doing. Share it with them. And once they are back, you can do it. Now, another question that was asked was, how do we manage journals? So I would like to add here stating that the students are not expected to do a journal, write a journal, come and hand it over to you. But the children can definitely make use of a CAM scanner. So they can continue writing their journal. The handwritten codes can be entered into their journal. The aim, the objective, the procedure can all be entered into their journal. And they can write the source codes also in their journal. And they just need to scan and send it across to you. Teachers can then, assess the PDF and make a note of it in your own references as to which student has submitted and who is yet to submit. So this will make your life more simpler. And if we start the process right from now, so maybe towards the end, the child can just compile all that he has scanned and sent across and make one file of it. And that would be acting as his journal if the situation is not subsiding, by the time their exam is. But if the situation continues, I'm sure we will also have messages or intimations being sent to us from the board as well as to how we need to be proceeding further. So I believe we should not get jittery at this point of time. Stay cool, stay calm. Just do your practicals the way you're conducting on your laptop. Show them the screenshots, solve it with them, and ask them to do the skill set 1 and 2 on the Android apps that they have, because I believe it's not possible for everybody to have a PC or a desktop. And barely many children are managing with Android and, in remote interiors without a network also. We do understand all this. But the teacher, when you're taking a session, you can definitely help them see the screenshots. And you can take them through the practical also. Right? So this could probably help you. And besides this, some more questions were asked, but may I just request, if I have not, there was yet another question which you asked saying that this is all complete about the 100% of the portion. What I covered was under non-COVID condition, and the reduced syllabus after me was covered by Rupali madam. So I believe your question should be answered when Rupali madam took over and explained to you that, under the current situation, how the journal should be made. But yes, 7 practicals have to be entered. There is no choice in that. And 12 practicals, under normal circumstances, 12 practicals compulsory. Yes, there was a question mark next to 12, but yes, you have to enter 12 practicals. There was yet another question that was asked that in practical slips, is it necessary that skill set 1 should be retained, and can we have a choice between skill set 2 and 3? So let me tell you here, the teachers are being given a choice. So you should have a combination of 2 different skill set is all that has been mentioned. So it is at your discretion how the combinations can be made depending on what you have covered for the students. But I believe since skill set 1 is also there in their theory, so most of the teachers would definitely have covered skill set 1. So this question should not arise ideally. It has to be there. And skill set 2 also, you have an 8B question coming up. So ideally, no teacher should take an option there, and you should ensure that all the 3 skill sets are done, and there should not be an internal choice further within that also. So I believe, ma'am, from my end, the questions pertaining to
Yes.
practicals, I have tried to answer. I'll also go
Yes,
through the
yes.
chat. If there is any more, I will
Yes, madam.
definitely answer to
Now,
it.
yes, madam. Now coming up to one more question where one man has said that online exam questions are also not correct as per guidelines. In that case, students lose marks because of wrong question. Now, here, madam, I would like to tell you that we create number of sets. So it is likely that we agree to some extent that it is likely that some question might go wrong in framing, but a care is also taken that the student is not going to lose his marks. We do give him due credit. Okay, all the question sets are collected, okay, at the end, and based on the different queries, based on what teachers provide us the feedback related to questions, each and every question paper, okay, we try to scrutinize and exact marks whichever are required wherever are given. Okay, so the possibility is very less. You can see that nowadays there are very few errors, okay, which are coming up, but as the question papers are more, the same error gets repeated, and there is one error which is being telecasted by many, okay, and it sums up to many, but actually the error is one. Okay, so because the number of sets are more, this is likely to happen, but we wish to take care a lot related to it. And now, if you have any other queries apart from this, and technically about solving any practicals, you can talk to us or send us an email on this particular ID. Okay, anybody maybe related to form connectivity. If you have any doubt, you can send across your query through this mail. Again, there is one feedback. Yes, feedback link which is
Neha, is
being
it okay
displayed.
if I post the feedback
Type.
link in the YouTube?
Yes,
Is it
yes,
okay?
type it, type it. Yes, yes. This is a feedback link provided to us by board. So
So
you
I will be
can
just sharing that in the
think,
chat.
yes,
Okay.
yes, yes.
रम्या मॅडम हॅलो रुपाली मॅडम
Yes, sir.
तुम्ही काय करा युट्यूब वर जाऊन आणि तिथे पेस्ट करा हे
हो
टाईप करणं
हो
अवघड
मी
जाईल.
नाही मी टाईप नाही करत आहे, युट्यूबलाच पेस्ट करते, एका सेकंदात पोस्ट होईल आता link.
हो हो
I have posted the link in the chat box of YouTube. So you can just click and feel it and you can copy it. So everybody needs to feel the link which is provided in the chat box. If you can have any other queries, the queries can be handled by this email ID also. If this may happen that your query is not handled over here, some of the questions like say how to conduct the practical and all that, which operating system is to be used. So Windows or Unix, any both platforms, Ubuntu, all it is specified in your textbook that any of the platform you can go for. It's not that you are supposed to stick upon Windows or just the Linux or Unix. So whichever platform is available for you, you can make use of that. It has been specified in the textbook as well that you can make use of the any operating system for performing the assignments, PHP as well as JavaScript. Not necessary that Windows is compulsory or Linux is compulsory.
Okay, now if you are satisfied with the answers which are being provided, and if you wish to have many more questions in your minds, you can, as said, contact through the mail. Now, I would like to request Gayatri Madam to just propose vote of thanks.
Sure, Neha ma'am. On behalf of the entire IT fraternity all over Maharashtra state, I would hereby thank the Director of Bal Bharati, Director of Maharashtra State Board, Secretary of Bal Bharati, Secretary of Maharashtra State Board, the technical team, all support staff of the Maharashtra State Board, and the trainers present today here as well. And last but not the least, all you lovely viewers for putting up with the technical glitches, if any, you have faced due to network issues and helping us to sail through this training. Definitely, we thank each one of you to be a part of this session. And further, to ensure that there are no doubts in your mind with respect to the evaluation pattern of the 12th standard, we request you to post your queries onto this email ID, which is being flashed right now. And we will definitely get back to you with as many answers that we could, provided it is within the scope of today's session. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you all.
With this, almost we have concluded all the points from the evaluation pattern. I would also like to thank you, Neha, Atul sir, Dharav sir, and Gayatri for helping me out for conducting the particular session over here, and all of them has really worked hard for this session. So we will thank you the board, NCERT, as well as these trainers as well. Thank you.